Hi, everyone. My name is Libby Robinson. I'm the managing partner of Integral and also the founder of Backfeed Plus. I'm here with Mitch Karp, our technology evangelist, and this is a short demo for anyone that might be interested in using Backfeed Plus. So here we go. Let me tell you the quick story behind Backfeed, the backstory of Backfeed, which is I'm a master certified coach. I have a master's degree in organizational transformation, and I've worked with hundreds of organizations around the world. And very often in leadership development programs, inevitably they would have their favorite assessment or 360 tool, and there'd be a debriefing process, etc. Basically, 360s haven't changed in years. And my personal mission is to blow up the 360-degree market. That's why I created Backfeed. In 2018, I met Dr. Tessa West, a researcher, social scientist at New York University, and she was just showing her research on the science of feedback, how the brain responds to feedback. And in her research, she describes three major findings. One, this is a blinding flash of the obvious, it's stressful to receive feedback. And even if you're really good and you're confident, when someone kind of comes around the corner of your office in pre-COVID days and says, hey, can I give you some feedback? Your brain is hardwired to go into threat response. So just giving unsolicited feedback isn't actually really helpful. Two, it's actually equally as stressful to give feedback, which is why managers and leaders don't do it often enough, even though we know from research that most employees, especially millennials, Gen Y, Gen Z, and whatever else is after Gen Z, want it on a daily or weekly basis. The third and final finding was the most interesting, which is the only time it's less stressful to receive feedback is when you proactively have asked for it yourself. And this is the basis on which Backfeed Plus has been created. So we want to show this to you. It'll take maybe 15, 20 minutes. And of course, if you'd like a live demo or you have questions, you can reach out to us at www.backfeedapp.com or at support@backfeedapp.com. So Mitch, so here let's we've got the home page up, and I want to tell you right away that Backfeed Plus is available right now. It's free on the App Store and Google Play or wherever you get your apps. So feel free to go ahead and download that. It's a very simple, fast, and easy thing to do. And I'm going to take you through some of the simplest parts of Backfeed. So you'll see here, you at the top, you've got a home page, you've got ratings and my action items. Let's go down to my tribe. And what is a tribe? In the case of Backfeed, you want to be able to ask people that you think are going to be honest brokers, people that are going to regularly, that you're going to see your work regularly. It's not someone you're going to see once every year, but someone, it could be inside your organization or outside your organization, could be a mentor. You might work in several different organizations if you're a gig worker. And so you're able to invite up to 7 people for free to be the people that you ask for Backfeed. And you can invite these people from your address book or using their email, and they'll get an email inviting them to download the app. So easy peasy. They can choose to be in your tribe or not, and vice versa. They can also then invite other people. So there's a kind of a network effect on this. But you start with 7 people. And so the very simple first thing that you do, and when you learn how to request Backfeed, takes about 30 seconds. So we're going to click on the button for Backfeed, and you'll see at the top there's a theme, select a theme. So we have about 13 or 14 themes. These are typical leadership themes that you might see in a leadership competency for a company. All of these can be customized in the pro and enterprise versions. So this is just an example, and this is in the free. So you'll see that I've picked digital savviness, and you'll see that in digital savviness, there's about 3 questions that I can choose from to send off. So that way I don't have to think about exactly what do I have, how am I going to word it? It's already done for me. If I want the person to remember a particular event, like, hey, at the sales meeting yesterday, I was wondering how you felt I did with all the different tools I was using. And I can remind them of the date, and I can say, okay, well, I want to send it to my whole tribe. So I just click one button and it sends it to all of those folks. Or I can go, oh, right, it was just Amanda and Adana that were in fact in the meeting and paying attention. So I'm just going to send it to them. So off it goes. And you'll see these little gamification kind of come up. It's a little kudos that says, hey, and this says very, very brave, Backfeed salutes you, right? It's meant to be a little whimsical. Know that all of the wording and even the colors and the way this the imagery is can be suited to your organization in the enterprise white label version. So here's the thing. So I've requested Backfeed from my tribe, and now there are people who in my tribe, like Benjamin, who are asking me. So Benjamin's asking me about his problem solving, and he's picked a question around effectiveness. So when I'm ready, I can click on Give Backfeed. And you can see that, of course, I can type it in just as usual. I could say, hi, Ben, what's going on? Here's one of the things I think about your, how to be more effective. But I can also, and this is where we think this is, we're separated from the pack. I can also give audio message if I'm having a bad hair day. So just in a minute, or a video. So remember, have you ever read an email? Hi, Mitch. Have you ever read an email where you thought it said one thing and you walk away and you come back and you read the email again, it says something different? We think that written feedback is probably the least effective way to give feedback, and that one of the best ways is audio or video, but in an asynchronous format, meaning I want to be able to read that feedback when I'm less stressed, I'm not in the middle of everything. And you, conversely, want to be able to sit and give me that feedback when you've got a moment, not just because I ask you on the spot and you have to perform on the spot. So it takes some of that performance anxiety away from giving and receiving feedback. So that's, so you can give it, text, video, audio. And again, if you give the feedback, like I just did, I get another little kudos out there. And there is gamification, meaning there are badges and different things that are naturally in the app. So you'll see people get badges for receiving and giving, but we'll go into that a little later. Now, there's one also interesting feature of Backfeed Plus, and I'll use it in contrast to a 360. When you've done 360s in the past, it's always anonymous, and there's no learning on the part of the rater, right? They just give their opinion on 1 through 5 or 1 through 9 or 1 through 7. Maybe there's a couple of, small notes, but they don't learn anything about how to give effective feedback. Backfeed changes that in that when I receive, so for example, Anna gave me some feedback on my listening skills, I'm then able to contribute to Anna by rating her feedback on a series of 4 scales. And these 4 scales we think is unique to Backfeed, and also something that is the constructs and the fundamental constructs of how to give good feedback. So the first axis is it timely? So timeliness might have a cultural element, but we'll say, based on your organization, probably within 48 hours. Is it accurate? Meaning, is it evidence-based? So when she says something to me, she's saying, when you were in the sales meeting and you were talking to John, here's what I noticed. So that's evidence-based. So I can actually find an example of what she's talking about. She's not talking in generalities. Is it useful? So does she give me something that I might be able to try or practice in the future? And that, because it's not enough just to tell somebody what they're doing wrong, but it's also helpful to point them in the direction of something that they can practice. And then the fourth and final axis is, does it demonstrate empathy? Or is it just me whining and complaining about your performance, right? How it sounds, if I am saying it in a way because I care about your performance, I care about your development, I care that we do well together, this is a critical factor. And sometimes this is often missing in just the written feedback. So that's why we put that in there. And before anyone freaks out about the rating system, just know that this isn't, Anna is not going to see that particular rating. So it goes into an aggregate score for her, and she'll be able to learn about how well she's been doing. So if you see up at the top right, you'll see an overall rating. I can click on that, and you can see that over time, you can see how many requests I've made, how many I've replied to, how many have replied to me. And then you'll see here on this, the accuracy scale is a little low. So it might be that I need to be more evidence-based and to respond when I'm giving backfeed, to respond in a way so that they can really hone in on what I saw there. You'll see at the bottom also that there are different badges. This is to encourage participation and enthusiasm. It's got there's many different levels of this, so people learn and continue to get better. So Backfeed isn't all things to all people. It is really about helping people asynchronously continue to have and create a culture of feedback. We find that this way reduces the anxiety in the brain. It gives people encouragement to proactively ask for feedback, and is fun as well. So the other thing is that the app naturally propagates over an organization over time. And that's also, it's not a top-down heavy IT implementation. It's very simple. So there are a couple of things. I think one thing that I didn't talk about in the gamification or before that was uh, about the confidentiality. And I want to talk about this in terms of confidentiality, which is the one thing, for example, Workday has a feedback tool. There are other human capital management or performance management programs that have a feedback tool. And you know what? Most of them don't have good engagement. And why? Because the feedback is not confidential. And so one of the things that's built into this app is the fact that it is what I say to Mitch and what Mitch says to me is completely confidential. The only time that it's not confidential is if there's any sort of concern, just like on any other social media platform, you can flag as inappropriate. So maybe we could just show that, Mitch.
Sure. Nope. Hold on. I gotta find the right one.
Great. So you see here, Andrea asked for a question around listening skills. Anna gave the feedback, and it was rated. If this feedback that Anna had given felt bullying or inappropriate, we just click the flag as inappropriate button, and that would send a notification to the organizational admin that would take a look at this. So that's an important thing for safety, of course. So this is the basic app, and it can be deployed really simply. You could start with just a handful of people in your organization, but we want to show you what we think is really interesting in the pro version at the admin level. So the app is on, iOS, Android devices, and then you have basically a laptop admin panel. And Mitch, I'll hand it over to you to talk a little bit more about the admin panel.
Sure. So the app that you've seen so far is both used by pro and free users. So it's the same regardless of whether or not you have the admin overlay on top. So the admin overlay is for pro and enterprise users. And so that's what you're looking at now. So one or more people in a company can be made an admin, and they'll have access to all of the statistics from all of their users. The users can be set up within teams inside of the application. And this overall panel will give you access into the trends, to see the different engagement levels, to look at the teams and the company as a whole. I can select the individual teams. I can click on different time frames and drill down into the details of those. I can see the different themes that are used, the different questions, the different users. All of that can be made available in the admin panel. And when I do break the company down into teams, I can actually assign team admins as well, and a team admin can log into the system and see the results from just their team. So there's a hierarchy of access within inside of the system. But one of the things that is important in the pro and enterprise level is the ability to customize what you see on the screen. So all of the themes and the questions. So what we've been showing so far has been what is the default settings that come along with the application. So it's Libby's lovely voice, it's cute, it's whimsical, but it may not be how you want to have the information displayed in the application. So you have the ability of editing what's here already. You can add questions. You can completely remove all the themes and all the questions and put in your own competencies into the application. The other thing that's really important, Libby had mentioned about confidentiality. So even though this is the admin level, there is still not the access into the communication between parties. You're seeing the information on an aggregated basis. I can see that Lucas has a 4.8, but I don't know what Anna and Lucas have done between each other. There's no information with regards to the ratings on specific backfeed requests. So there is that level of confidentiality in the data. And lastly, we also make this data available through an API. So if you do have a data warehouse, another HR platform that you want to pull the data from out of our system and put it into yours, using our API and our pro and enterprise level allows you to get access to the data.
Great. Thank you so much, Mitch. So where we're finding that most organizations start with Backfeed is they find a group of high potential leaders, somewhere mid to senior within an organization that are expected to be the leaders, for the coming years. And what we can work with you on is creating the engagement and the practice, because everybody has apps and there's all sorts of apps. So what do you do to create the stickiness of app usage? And we think we know how to do that with this. Also, one of the great features is that we can come back to you as your leaders, your pilot group, 20 or so people start using this. We can come back to you on a weekly or monthly basis and say, hey, do you know that there's another 40 people here that are actively using the app? Would you like to license those people as well? So you can start to see the spread of engagement. And essentially what this app is about is helping organizations that are serious about increasing the company's ability to create a culture of feedback. And feedback that's not just, I don't like this, correct this is bad, but really an empathetic culture, and a culture where people are responsible for each other's development from a peer-to-peer learning perspective. So we hope you'll add Backfeed Plus to your HR tech stack. I would like to say that between now and December 2020, we are offering 2 months free of our pro version. So that does give you availability to the enterprise-wide analytics for up to 20 users. So if you're interested in that, please contact us at support@backfeedapp.com. And we'd be happy to set you up. That way you can actually really play around with it. Or if you don't want to do that, you can just download the free version on the App Store or Google Play. And we hope you enjoy it. Have a really lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much.